Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Welcome to our webinar, where we'll be taking a closer look at what businesses want from their marketing people in 2023. I'm Andy Irvin from Carter Murray, a recruitment consultancy dedicated to marketing, digital and communications. I specialise in recruitment for interim professionals across the full marketing spectrum and many sectors, including financial services, professional services, commerce and industry. Through expertise within our markets, we're proud to support professionals and businesses by matching the best candidate to every role, including permanent and interim contracts. We partner with some fantastic clients and candidates, and I'm very pleased to be joined today by Holly Harvey, who's Managing Director from Redmond Harvey, an award-winning full-service communications agency with a no-nonsense approach to marketing and communications. Holly has over 15 years of deep-rooted experience, both across large agency and in-house communications. She brings extensive expertise from a range of sectors, including fast-moving consumer goods, beauty and luxury, top-level government, financial services, and real estate. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Holly, who's going to talk us through this year's marketing trends and what you can do to dominate them. Over to you, Holly.
Thank you, Andy. That's a very flattering introduction. I'm going to share my screen, and this is where the technology will fail me. Can you see that?
Yep, all good.
Thanks so much, Andy. So hi, everyone. I'm Holly, founder and managing director of Redmond Harvey, and I'm delighted to be talking to you guys today. And to be on this webinar hosted by Carter Murray. I've known Andy for a while, so we go way back. And Carter Murray are a fantastic outfit. So thanks for having me. So this is what I'm going to take you through, which is today our conversation topic. So firstly, a bit about us. Then I'm going to go through some of the trends and expectations, challenges for people in marketing today. I've kept them deliberately generic because I know there are quite a few people that are joining from different sectors, B2C and cross functions. So I've kept them quite light. And then I'm going to take you through a case study of a recent client that we've worked with, where I'll try and kind of link the trends to ways that we've applied them to one of our case studies, and that's Molly's by Soho House. So a little bit about us. We're a marketing communications agency. We're based in Mayfair. And as you can see, we've got a pretty direct approach to marketing. We are full service 360, so we cover the whole marketing mix. And we create bespoke solutions. So we don't have a cookie cutter approach to briefs. We tend to look at the project, and then we create a bespoke team so that we can keep our clients' costs to a minimum. We won an award this year. So someone thinks that we are doing something right. So here's the marketing mix. We do everything from the branding to the strategy, marketing, public relations, crisis comms, event management, and we can even do policy change and lobbying. We partner with a really good outfit that support us in that. So we don't believe that you can be the jack of all trades and master of none. So we try not to say that we're experts in everything, but we do have a deliberately lean team, which means that we can take on any brief, and we bring on the right partners for the right job. So we work with SMEs in the finance and property space. That's where our historic client bases come from. It's not the sexiest side of marketing, but we like it. And we'll look at any brief. And if we think that we can add value, we will. So our process, which is up on the slide here, is that we look at the project, we see how we can add value, and then we try and find creative solutions to the brief. Then this is our team. We're deliberately quite lean. We're small, but we're mighty, and each one of us has our very own superpower. So these are the guys that make it happen, not me, because we are a big believer at Redmond Harvey Communications that if we each hire someone who is bigger than us, we will become a company of giants. So we like to encourage superpowers, and we like to leverage those. Here's a bit of a deeper dive into who we are. This is where we started. This is me sending my very first proposal off from my car, founded in 2019. My background, as Andy ran through, is from large agencies, Ogilvy, Bell Pottinger, and I've worked in-house for property, Knight Frank, and then also Octopus Investments. The reason that I founded Redmond Harvey is that I do believe that the large agency model is broken. Having hundreds of people under one roof and paying large agency fees to clients to keep the lights on, I don't think works in this day and age. And I think that small and flexible teams and bringing specialists on to collaborate is sort of the new way forward. I feel it benefits us, it also benefits our clients, and it leads to more creative work. So that was 2019, and now we've just moved to a new office in Mayfair, and we're setting up for new growth. We're about to scale, and we're looking at new sectors, which include renewable energy, hotels, and beyond. This is just a brief look at the experience. So what do companies want from their marketing people in 2023? Now, as we know, because the people that are on this webinar, is that in marketing, you are expected to wear multiple hats. You're expected to be not only an expert in marketing, but you'll also be able to run events, be a PR expert, sort IT, be the HR professional, be the in-house comedian, team morale builder, social secretary, organizing the nights out, but also graphic designers and social media whizzes. This is from my experience, and I'm sure you'll all resonate with that, is that companies want it all. They expect you to wear all these different hats and to do all these different functions and to be able to flip between them without, so much of a breath. And you can end up being, in-house or an agency is sort of working up to 4 different roles. And very rarely does the salary sort of match that. So we've seen, in recent years since the pandemic, that marketing is a vital role, but yet a lot of people see it as a luxury. They see PR as a luxury, but we genuinely believe that it's more important than ever, because when you can't access your clients in person, when you can't access your target audience in person, you've got to be creative. You've got to find new ways of reaching your audience when it's the traditional avenues to doing that are no longer available to you. So we're going to go through these trends. Like I said, they're deliberately generic, but we'll take a deeper dive into them as we go through the case study. So big data. This is something that was very important when I was working at Ogilvy. So working with brands such as Procter & Gamble and Danone, very big in FMCG. Now getting your customer understanding means that you can personalize the way that you market to people. We've got so many tools at our fingertips now that are available in order to do this and to understand how our consumer behaves, how our target audience behaves, where they're hanging out online, where they're shopping, and we can take that data and we can really understand it, and we can optimize our campaigns in order to do that. It's never been more easy to take markets and segment them and then target them. Write down the tools that you can use on things like LinkedIn to really find people in a certain industry, find, by gender, by job role, even by salary. And that's so interesting for marketeers today, because it means that you can really run quite targeted campaigns that are specifically speaking to the right person when they're in the right place, when they're reading an article, for example. It also means we can get real-time insights into how they're behaving, what's working, what's not working, and then we can adapt and change our campaigns based on those outcomes. It almost means that we can also model based on these predictions from campaigns and things that have happened before. So customer-centric mindset. Octopus Investments, this was one of their key values, was customer obsession. And it's no more important now than it ever has been. Customers are savvy these days. Consumers are savvy. They're more sophisticated. Things like, throw in a pandemic or a cost of living crisis, and people's choices are affected by that. So customer satisfaction and loyalty. There are so many brands out there today that being able to stand out from people. If you have your customer front and center and put your customers before your profits, then obviously you're going to win. And you're going to beat the competition. So it gives you a better competitive advantage. It also gives you more customer insights. You know, the big brands of the world who can understand from their big data, they can really understand their consumer. Things like the way that we buy in supermarkets from Tesco. Your Tesco club card knows more about you than you do. And you could actually be led through a supermarket based on that data that they can understand from your shopping habits. The same principle can be applied online, and that is, I mean, it's quite scary, but it also does mean that our consumer experience can be more enjoyable. So that leads to a positive brand perception. So we can increase our customer lifetime value by winning our customers, by understanding them better. Putting your consumer at the front of what you do is so important. Integrated marketing. So integrated marketing is the only marketing in 2023. This is, working for big agencies will tell you this. You can borrow ideas from beer brands, and you can use them to, use those ideas to then sell baby formula. So this means that if you're from the beginning of your campaign to the end of your campaign, there has to be consistency across your messaging. If you have integrated marketing, you will have every touch point where your consumer touches your campaign or touches your brand, means that they are going to they're going to have consistency, and they will be able to build a strong brand identity, which reinforces your brand's positioning in the mind of its consumers. So it also leads to your enhanced customer experience. Your brand visibility improves because you're leveraging multiple marketing channels, so social media, print, television, online. And it means that wherever your brand is present, wherever they are in touch with your brand, that you will be remembered. It also has amplified impact, because the likelihood of them remembering and responding to your brand, or you being top of mind when it comes to brand recall, that is far stronger because every touch point is consistent. So then you have your holistic customer understanding. So integrated marketing, it's you analyze your data from different touch points, and you can develop a more comprehensive understanding of who your consumer is, and then you can tailor your marketing strategies accordingly. This is really important when you're looking at interim marketing support. So if you're looking at interim job roles, this can really help, because what you're learning from what's happened to social media, you can analyze data that's been gone in previous campaigns, and you can understand that. And then it means that you can hit the ground running when you come into an interim role. Creativity and innovation, the holy grail of marketing. If you're not being creative and innovative in marketing today, then you're in the wrong job. You've got to do this. If you're working for a disruptor brand, or even in the finance industry like we do, if you're not being creative, you're going to get lost. So, why be boring when you can be best in class? It differentiates you from the competition. It's essential to stand out. Whether you're a deodorant or whether you're a bridging loan company, you've got to stand out. It builds your attention and engagement with your audience. Your brand personality will shine through if you're doing creative things. If you're, problem solving, it means you're coming up with creative solutions to problems, and you're adapting to the changing trends. So, as we know from recent years, the changing trends have been at a pace that no one could predict. With the advancement of technology and the fact that we are more in touch with our mobile phones, our shopping habits, etc., the more time we spend on our screens, the more people can understand how we're doing that. If you're not creatively trying to grab someone's attention while they're scrolling through their phone, then you're not going to get their attention. You're not going to win them as a customer. Adaptability. I think everyone that's been working in marketing and communications in the last couple of years has realized that adaptability is key, because the world is changing very quickly. Consumer preferences are changing very quickly, and the competitive landscape. the amount of companies now, it's never been easier to start a business now. So competitor brands who are hungry and flexible are coming in, and you've got to be able to cut through the noise of competitive landscape. Technological advances are incredibly, you're changing at a dramatic rate. They're incredibly fast, and we have to understand that it's not just in the way that we market, but also, you know, social media platforms, new channels, things like that, using TikTok for marketing, those kind of things. And we're only really just understanding how these technologies work and how we can use them to the advantage when we're doing marketing. So it's quick to learn, and the quickest to learn are the ones that win in this game. Measurement and analytics. Obviously, it's so easy now to track with digital marketing. You can actually analyze your results and collect that data to analyze it, interpret it, and then reframe your campaigns accordingly. So we're becoming far more sophisticated in the way that we do these things, you know, and then that leads to better agility, better innovation, and again, you can hire interim support for people who are specialists in these areas in order to support in those areas. You're not expected in this day and age to be a specialist in all of these things to that kind of granularity, but there are people that exist that can. And so if you can have interim specialists come in and help you with that, even if it's for a short period of time, so that you can use them as a support for you to learn, and then you can, if it's just an interim role, then you're not contracted to keep them on. Cross-functional collaboration, again, this is super important, and you can be really creative with this. You know, we did a Procter & Gamble campaign when I was at Ogilvy, where we were doing something on Pantene shampoo, but we actually then got all the other brands that were working for them involved. We were doing beauty secrets, and we did a big digital campaign on how can we sell shampoo, but how can we leverage the other brands? So we came up with this campaign about beauty secrets. So we used oil of Olay as well as Pampers, and we even brought in some feminine hygiene products as well to run our campaign. So it was, you know, we were leveraging the whole Procter & Gamble universe in order to sell the shampoo. This is super important because you can learn from different parts of the business. You know, it creates a holistic approach to the brand. You know, it's efficient with your resource allocation, because if you and the sales team are working together to campaign your products, then everyone's benefiting. It means you're also getting more brains on it, so you've got increased in creativity and innovation, which means that you're going to be understanding your consumer more, and so you'll have a better customer focus. And also you break down the silos, but you also have an agile response to market changes, which means that because you've got more people that are understanding the different types of challenges across the business, this only makes your campaigns stronger. So I'll take you through a case study, which is Molly's by Soho House. So Molly's is a diner and motel, which they have two locations. It is one is based in Oxford and one is based in Bristol. And we were contracted with Molly's for 12 months to do their full 360 marketing, which included a rebrand, PR, marketing, digital, design, events, and more. So the challenge that we had when we approached Molly's is that for us, we knew it was a big brand. It was Soho House. It was very well known. So a lot of big agencies were going to be involved. Now, we knew that we were not a large agency. We don't pretend we are, but it was a big David and Goliath story, because our small challenge was we weren't Mother. We knew that Mother were involved in this pitch, and Mother are the biggest branding agency in the world. We had no infrastructure. No one knew who we were, and so we had zero chance, really. But at Redmond Harvey Communications, we don't take no for an answer, and we actually see that no is a jumping off point to start negotiations. So we threw the kitchen sink at the pitch, and we put all of our creative ideas into our pitch, which is a big no-no for agencies, because a lot of people will charge for those kind of ideas. But we thought, we've got the ideas, we're very creative, and we'll probably have 100 more tomorrow. So even if we lost the pitch and we saw them being executed, we were okay with that, because it meant that we would come up with more the next day. So we put branding, marketing, PR, brand partnerships. We came up with creative ideas for social media and execution. We even did event execution ideas as well, seasonal campaign strategies, and we even came up with sounds, smells, and political lobbying for them too. We also realized we were small, so we brought along some friends. And as our model suggests, we partner with people in order to be specialists. So we brought in specialist branding, all very small, agile companies like ourselves that we've worked with before, and companies that we know were specialists in the areas of hotel hospitality. We ran it as the lead agency, and then we got our friends involved. We also approached it by the pitch was going to be the main bit. It was our chance to sell how brilliant we could be and how we were the right agency for the job. So with this pitch, we also went down to Molly's and we created 2 brand videos in 3 days in order to prepare for the pitch. So it was no mean feat, but this was the kind of brand proposition that we came up with for them. And we knew that they were competing in the Premier Inn space, which was huge. And how do you take a small challenger brand and cut through the noise? So the one thing that Molly's had on their side is that they were luxury. They were designed by Soho House, and they needed to stand out. So we called it Gucci Nuggets, which was the reason behind Gucci Nuggets is that everyone loves chicken nuggets. So it was available to everyone. The idea of Molly's is that it's budget. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be luxury. So we called it Budget Luxe. So this was our brand proposition that we pinned our whole pitch around. And then I'm just going to play you a video of our pitch that we created this was one of 2. This one is called Millennials. The other one was called Weary Travelers, because we wanted to hit all the different types of consumer that were going to be part of Molly's.
Years ago, again, you say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's your place where you be. Listen carefully to the sound. You will know.
So we were successful in the pitch, which was brilliant for us. For a small agency to go up against big agencies was a big win for us, because it was, I think, what was great about Molly's is they were a really disruptive brand, but they also understood that agility and adaptability was going to be, the way that they also won in the game as well. So they took a chance on us, and we believe it paid off. So I'm just going to run through these bits here, which is the sort of strategy. So just touching on those points that I was going through before in terms of what are the trends these days. So big data, customer obsession, integrated marketing, creativity, adaptation, and cross-functional collaboration. So big data, what we did was we analyzed what their historic target, their historic customer base was. And we did that through a number of things, through, analyzing their data from social media, through their, the people that had been staying in the hotels. So from their historic data from stays. But also we sat in the diner for a while, and we did some focus groups and collected some data on the different types of cars that were coming through the drive-through. And we identified that there were different tribes that were in Molly's. So that helped us really segment our audience, and then we could market to them accordingly. Customer obsession, what was really obvious from the onset was that Molly's, it was all about the people that came. Because of these different types of people, these different tribes of people, that was what the whole that was what made Molly's what it was. It was the people behind it. It was the people that came to it. And that's what made it so different. Integrated marketing. So our strategy was to do everything from the logo all the way down to designing the bins for the dogs, and everything in between. And actually, as we started doing the job for the 12 months, the project, we actually ended up doing a lot more than that as well. But the point of that is that the integrated marketing is that once you scratch the surface of a brand like Molly's, is actually you realize there's a lot more to do than what you maybe once expected. But that's only a good thing, because then your touch points end up being more consistent. Creativity and innovation. So we actually ended up doing a retail offering. We created brand partnerships with, with the likes of GHD. And we also reached out to other brands in the local area in order to really extend the reach beyond the local area. We wanted this to be a national thing. We wanted people to really understand who Molly's was and why it was different, and why it made sense to go and stay at Molly's over Premier Inn, even though they only had 2 locations, or 1 location at the time when we came onto this project. Adaptation. We ended up doing partnerships as well with Gordon Ramsay's Future Food Stars. They came and filmed. We also had a rapper, Slow Tie, that approached us and asked if they could use Molly's as a place to do their rap video. There was then a big PR disaster with that particular rapper, and so we had to adapt, and actually ended up not working with them in the end. So we had to adapt really quickly to which people we partnered with and why, because it could affect the brand. Then cross-cultural collaboration. We'll go through a few of the events that we've done to show how we can extend the brand. So the brand, we took the old brand and we created a new logo for them. We came up with a tagline, "It's Molly's thing," and the branding looked like this. It was very cool. The idea was that it was future-proofed so that they could expand beyond just the 2 locations that they had. So if they wanted to have city locations in the future, then we had future-proofed that so that they could expand beyond just the 2 locations that they had in Oxford and Bristol. We then designed their packaging and their burger wraps, even their uniforms, and came up with some quite interesting slogans for the back of them, and also for the diner. So this was the collaboration with our friends at Garden, and we also did the key cards for the rooms. We even extended to the electric charging. And if you can see here, we came up with different types of slogans for each one of the electric charging units, which was quite fun. Then we even made sure that the cool branding extended all the way to Molly's Mutts, we called it, which was a dog-friendly bag station, right, hydration station. And then that then extended to the other touch points of the menus, and then even into the bar. Then this is where we elevated the brand, and we even took it to designing them a retail offering, which could be purchased in the lobby of the hotel. So if you've forgotten your charger, or if you've forgotten your beard kit, sneaker cleaning kit, we actually ended up designing and collaborating with a company called Men's Society, which is owned by a friend of mine, to come up with a 43 skewed retail offering for different products, from a vanity kit. We even came up with a sex kit, which meant that people, they had condoms in them and eye masks. We also did a coffee offering for them, which was we partnered with Deer Hill to create the Molly's coffee, and we did these. We then designed these trays to go into the room as well, and then this is what they looked like in real life. So then we did the website and the app. So this is what the website looked like. So as you can see, the Molly's logo then transcended through to the Molly's people. We created the different, we focused it very much around the people and the people that came to Molly's. We then did the TV screens in the hotel rooms as well, and the mobile app. So every touch point had consistency across it. So that integrated marketing really shone through. And then this is what the final one looked like. And that was how you could use it. Then we came to the social media, and then the social media, we understood the kind of social media that had gone before. We did some deep dive into the data that they had, looked back on the historical things, what was working, what was not. Turns out that, things like Molly's Mutts was working well. They got a good response to things like dogs, people, etc. And we then put together a comprehensive strategy with Make Agency, who are our friends over at Make, and we came up with a very strategic campaign and an email campaign which was designed to hit the different tribes. So whether you were a yummy mummy and you were coming at a certain time of day, which was after school, or whether you were festival goers, or whether you were car enthusiasts, and all of the social media spoke to those different types of tribes. So this is where collaboration, as I mentioned before, comes in. So we thought, because Molly's was such a small, it was a relatively small unknown brand, despite being part of the Soho House group, we thought, how can we really extend that reach beyond the local vicinity? So what we did was we took huge brands and went and spoke to larger brands that were bigger than Molly's to leverage their target audience as well. So once we'd identified the different tribes of beauty, we even found a tribe that was Molly's was being used by actual builders in the local area, because they had a bunk room which was 4 different beds in one, and so it meant that they were, for £50 a night, it was a very cheap offering. So we actually came up with a campaign to target those as well. But then we had the luxury lifestyle area, which we thought was a huge opportunity for Molly's, because Soho House was already kind of in that area. So we partnered with people like Cowshed, GHD, and Candy Kittens. And so, again, mentioning the trends that we were talking about before, innovation and creativity, we thought, why not partner with GHD and actually get the GHDs in all the rooms? So Molly's, before we had approached them, had already done a partnership with Dyson to have the hair dryers in the rooms. And we thought, well, why not add the GHDs as well? Any high-end gym would have that. So we found someone at GHD through a friend, and we actually broke the deal and said, we'd like to put the straighteners into the hotel, and we got an 85% discount on the GHDs, and we even did a bespoke cup that they went in so that they could be put into the room. And we actually designed the whole area of the room around the Dysons and the GHD. So it was a way that we managed to partner, leverage their brand, but also create a much better offering within the hotel itself. Cowshed, we partnered with them and we did our own bespoke Molly's Cowshed product, put them in the room. And then, as I mentioned before, the Molly's and Men's Society, and we had them on sale in the lobby of the hotel. Then also the film and photography. So this is, elevating the brand, adapting. What was happening is that the brand that we had was not reflecting how it was looking on the social media. So what we did was we went in and reshot all of the menu. We even had some input on the menu to change it and to increase different offerings. This was one of the insights that we came up with, having discovered that there was this group of the audience that wasn't being targeted, which was the yummy mummies. So we actually added in different menu items that could cater to the after school crowd as well. We then arranged all the photography for the food offering, and made it look really beautiful. It was all American themed food. Then events. So we went out and reached out to as part of our partnerships. We went out and we did some events. So this was GHD. We took 9 influencers, partnered with GHD and took them to Wilderness Festival, which was nearby the Oxford location. This is a huge success because it meant that we could reach out to the beauty and lifestyle crowd, and we saw a huge bump in the social media from this, and it was a really successful campaign. Then again, hitting a completely different tribe, we looked at cyclists. So we went out to Rafa and we said, do you want to do some cycling? And we can cycle from our Oxford location to our Bristol location. We'll film you while you do it. And we had a load of cyclists come and we cycled from Oxford to Bristol. It was a brilliant campaign and really fun. And then when we were approaching the Bristol launch, before the Rafa one, we actually did Molly's Milia. So we wanted to target car enthusiasts, again, going back to the understanding of our data and adapting. We wanted to hit car enthusiasts. Again, it was a motel. So cars were really important to that brand strategy. So we got a lot of influencers, and we put them in some supercars. Some of them brought their own, and we drove from Oxford to Bristol via the Morgan factory up in Leicestershire, and then brought them all in this big line that you can see here over the Severn Bridge into Bristol. And all the influencers, the expectation was that they would post, they would mention Molly's. And again, this boosted the social media and encouraged car enthusiasts to come. And actually, as a result of this, the success of this was that then a lot of the car brands started to get in touch to say that they would like to launch. They would like to launch their new Volkswagen got in touch, so they'd like to launch their new electric vehicle at Molly's, and then also Kia. This was the Rafa event. This was GHD, and that was Molly's Milia. And then we did our final. So we did the two pitch videos for launching. When we actually launched Bristol, we went and filmed a video for them so that they could have that as their Bristol launch film. Again, talking about creativity, innovation, and adaptability, there wasn't a lot of budget to use models. So a lot of the people in this film are friends of ours, and a lot of our staff, if you can spot them, are also in this film. So we didn't have a lot of budget, so we had to be incredibly creative, ask our friends and family if they wanted to get involved. And this is what we came up with.
It's the coldest hand to run down this land where the ocean lands. It's the tallest sound, the damn smallest crowd, but their hearts break loud. I'll never feel lost with you. I'll push you back towards the land and sea. They're going down the love is free. Stick with me and I will guarantee you'll never last alone. You're drowning alone. Everywhere you go, I'll be anywhere you go, I'll see you. You'll never last alone. You're drowning alone. Never last alone, but try with me. Last alone, try with me. Every day go, I'll be born. Baby, we go, I'll see you.
I think there may have been a bit of a lag on the audio there. I'm not sure anyone could hear the audio there, but there was a song playing. which I think we're going to be posting this later, the recording of it, so it should work on that. So apologies if you couldn't hear the audio there. And that's us. So I hope that's been useful. I hope we've touched on a couple of the points of how to use different skills and how to use different functions across marketing today, and how we can adapt to be better at those things. It's always a changing and challenging environment in marketing, and I think the skill of marketeers is that we are always constantly changing, and we're always spinning plates in order to make sure that we can keep continuing forward with the brands, whether we're in-house or whether we are working in agencies. But that creativity, that flexibility and drive is what makes us marketeers. And so I hope that you found that useful.
Thanks, Holly. That was great. And it just amazes me every time, I think, just how much you guys get involved in, especially winning such an impressive pitch like you did at Molly's. Love the bit as well about adaptability as one of your key pointers, and that quick to win mentality. That's something that we see quite a bit on the interim side of recruitment as well, is that a lot of businesses are looking to quickly adapt, quickly change their marketing offering, and bring people in for an amount of time to add that skill set. So I thought that was great. Also love your term budget lux as well. I think that was a nice nice little play, and one we'll have to look at. And identification of tribes as well. Had no idea that you went into that level of data of looking at the cars arriving. So I thought that was great. We're now going to take a few questions. So if you have anything you'd like to ask, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. I have had one come through already. So this one's to you, Holly. With the world of AI becoming integrated in our lives, some people think that marketing can be replaced with ChatGPT and Canva. Do you think marketing jobs are at risk?
I get asked this quite a lot, actually. If ChatGPT and Canva had a baby, I don't think I would like that person very much. There's a lot of people say this. They say, oh well, with Canva, I'll just use Canva. I'll just do that. I can use Canva. I can use ChatGPT. I don't need to have a marketing person to do it because there's someone available. Yes, you can, but I just in the same way that you can make your own meals at home, it doesn't stop people from going to restaurants. I think these things are the antithesis to creativity. Yes, they're very useful tools. Yes, it gives people the ability to be more creative on things like Canva without being trained in graphic design. But I don't know if you've ever tried to put something into ChatGPT and seen what comes out. It's very generic. So I think, yes, if you can use these tools, they can enhance they can be a great thing for people in marketing, especially if you're cross-function, because if you're expected to do all the social media and you're also expected to run the strategy and you're also expected to do the PR, then yes, they are great as an extension, but they shouldn't be depended on as your main kind of function, because I think it does kill creativity in some way. And also things like ChatGPT means that there's no real thing as creative thought anymore, which is why we exist. So yes, they're important and they're useful, but I wouldn't rely on them too much.
Thank you, Holly. Yeah, I think we've seen a bit of that. It's the potential's great, but it's not just to be leaned upon too much. And I
use it a lot to get sometimes to start ideas, or if you want to start a discussion, someone throws it into the thing and sees what it comes up with, and then we go, no, that's not right.
It's nice to see what it comes up with. Right, so we've had another one come through. So this one's in relation to interim projects. With interim contracts, is there a danger that your CV can look like you've jumped around too much? So I'm happy to take that one. But with interim contracts, a lot of our clients will look at CV history, and some, if they're not used to taking on contractors, can raise that as the first question. Why have they moved around so much? But that's where we really get to know who we're working with and can help explain that to them, just to say, look, these are completed contracts, or giving the reasons for moving on from role to role. So I think it's about how you explain it. I think if we're as honest, open and honest at the beginning as possible, and take into consideration the client that you'd be working with, then that kind of thing can be quelled early on. And sometimes it's an advantage. They want to see people that have moved from project to project, are used to hitting the ground running. And again, tying it back to Holly's point on adaptability, that's a key player with a lot of businesses at the moment, especially the way things have changed so much over the last few years. So yeah, we see it as an advantage, but yeah, totally right to highlight that. And yeah, certainly something that we can work with. Okay.
I think also with that, with the interim contracts, I think it can be such an advantage as well. So it can be used as an advantage in the sense that, in the things that I mentioned before, in adaptability, cross-functional, is it if you've had multiple jobs in different interim contracts, or you've been doing maternity contracts, or you've done fixed-term contracts, is that you've got a broader depth of understanding of different things, or certainly a breadth of it, maybe not a depth from that you would if you've been in a role for many years, but there is definitely, you're picking up the different ways to do it and how you've learned from those and how you can apply them. The skills are all transferable. So that if I don't think anyone really asks in these interviews anymore whether if to explain it really in great detail, but if you did have the opportunity to is spin it on it as a positive and create, say what it was that you learned from that and how you can apply it to the role that you're applying for now. And I think that's something that's really important, is what did you learn from each of those interim roles, rather than them seeing it as a negative that you've changed jobs.
No, that's a great point. I think it's sort of turning it around and, like you say, using it as an advantage rather than something that you have to defend. And yeah, going back to your presentation, Holly, just how much you've had to cover. You've worked in different industries. You've no doubt picked up skills from those different industries, which you can now use in those projects and those pitches. So yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. We've had a couple more questions come through, so yeah, appreciate we've got a little bit of time left. So this one's from someone just saying, this is to you, Holly, that they run a marketing agency and have done for the last 5 years in London. They find it hard to find the premium brand contracts. What is your lead generation strategy?
So I think your network is your most valuable asset. So with the Mollies, things like Mollies, big trophy clients like that don't come along very often. So your network, leveraging the people that in different industries, reaching out to people, conversations with people, looking at social media, looking at different Facebook groups of people that are looking for marketing. But one of the great things is that Carter Murray are pretty good at placing people into roles. So they always know if people are looking for large companies will tend to use large recruitment agencies. So sometimes that's we tap into interim roles that can't be filled, or they're looking for something so specific that they might need something a small agency like us to take on a client while they're looking for it as well. Because if like Carter Murray, if you're taking a while to find a head of marketing or a CMO, even that process can take a long time. And so sometimes we can plug in, and plug the gap while they're looking for it. Because if you're a company and you're committing to an expensive and you don't want to make a mistake on a CMO role, or even hiring in a marketing team once you've gone through funding, is that sometimes it makes sense to get a small dynamic team in to sort of plug the gap while they're waiting. So it's almost the marketing agency becomes the interim contract while they're looking for the permanent role. So yeah, reaching out to people like Carter Murray are excellent for that.
Thank you, Holly. Yeah, I think a lot of people will look at recruitment and think that's just for for one person, for one role. But as you've proved, a lot of the work that we've done together is about the fact that you can bring in a team. So when you are trying to tick all those boxes, you can do that with those different skill sets. So that's great. Thank you. So yeah, I don't know if we've got time for one more quickly. Just having a quick skim through. So this one's just congratulating you on your achievements and thanking you for sharing Molly's case with us. What was the name of the PR agency that has worked with your team?
Well, we use lots of different PR agencies, and mainly we work with freelancers. But the PR agency that we used for Molly's to execute Molly's was Palm PR, and they're specialists. They're a small boutique agency. They're based in London, and they work in the hospitality industry. And so they were perfect for this role, and they did a really good job.
Brilliant, thank you. So yeah, thank you so much for that, Holly. I'm sure we can all agree that we've learned a lot today, and we're really grateful for your time. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with you, putting this together. And yeah, loved your project references. I thought Molly's project was fantastic. If anyone has any other questions for Holly, please do reach out to us. You can also reach out to me directly if you'd like to talk more about your hiring needs or your career. So I'd like to thank you all again, and have a great afternoon.
Thanks very much for having me, Andy. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Holly.
Bye.
Bye.